watching Local 3 News, and Friday Night Football starts right now!
From Local 3 Sports, this is Friday Night Football with Ben Bobick, Samantha Casano, and Greg Glover.
Friday Night Football is brought to you by Food City, proudly featuring the certified Angus beef brand, the best Angus beef available. And Sonic, this is how we Sonic.
And now, Friday Night Football.
Welcome to the most must-see high school football show in the Tennessee Valley. Welcome to Friday Night Football on Local 3. It doesn't get much better than this, people. Playoff season is a full go, and if your favorite team is still playing, buckle up. The stakes only get higher, the pressure is dialed up, but most importantly, the dream is still alive. So without further ado, let's get this party started with our Game of the Week.
It's time for the Friday Night Football Game of the Week, sponsored by Warren & Griffin, your local five-star law firm, supporting high school football for decades in Chattanooga and North Georgia.
Mr. Football semifinalist Boo Carter is no longer enrolled at the Chattanooga Christian School, news that sent shockwaves through the 4-2-3 this week, mainly because the Chargers were set to host a quarterfinal game for the first time in program history. But this CCS team is more than one person, as is any football team for that matter, as they focused on the task at hand in Franklin Road Academy. Sports reporter Samantha Casano was in the thick of all the action tonight at David Stanton Field as the Chargers and Panthers look to make the Final Four. Samantha, how did it all go down?
Ben, what a year for the CCS Chargers. A new head coach, new quarterback, new style of offense, and still this team has won more games than ever before. This week, they learned that they lost one of their star players, Boo Carter, but still, they were looking to make it to the semifinals for the first time in program history. Two teams unfamiliar with each other meeting with a spot in the state semifinals on the line. Panthers eat up 5.5 minutes of the clock on their first drive. Chargers defense holds them scoreless. Now it's time for the offense to show up. Jordan Guile airs it out to BJ Holland, and he takes it the rest of the way. CCS goes up 7-0. Still first quarter, Javoris Havis breaks free, and no one is going to stop that boy. The Chargers now leading rusher goes the distance, 83 yards to the house to give CCS a 14-0 lead. That Chargers defense, though, absolutely relentless in this one. 4th and goal, Cole Kugler hands it off, Jack McGuire throws, and CCS intercepts. Malik Lee gets 43 yards on the game before being taken down. Chargers lead 14-0 after a stellar half. Third quarter, though, things get a little dicey. Panthers score twice. All of a sudden, it's a one-score game. This one a nail-biter down the stretch, but for the second time in the second half, Javoris Havis puts the team on his back with the touchdown to give the Chargers a 2-score lead. CCS bends, but does not break. They take down FRA, final 36-21.
That's just a heart of a champion, and I saw that in all of our kids tonight.
We believe that we're top dogs no matter what the papers say, no matter what anything says. We believe that we are that top team. It means a lot to me and my teammates to just know that we made history and made our mark on CCS football.
Coach Massey told his team after the game, if this ever gets old, I gotta get out of here. I've never seen players talk during one of their post-game celebrations, but that's what happened tonight. It's clear that this team is so close, and they have only banded together after what has happened this week. For now, live at Chattanooga Christian, Samantha Casano, Local 3 Sports.
And the cherry on top, Samantha, CCS will play CPA next Friday at home. Awesome stuff for the Chargers. The Baylor Red Raiders under new head coach Eric Kimray have proved to be one of the best teams in the state this season. Big Red was granted a favorable place in the Division II AAA bracket on the opposite side of McCallie and East Region winner MBA, so the path to Findlay is laid out, but Baylor needed a win over MUS tonight in the quarterfinals before any talk of a championship game. And here come the Red Raiders, well rested after a week off, welcoming the Owls from Memphis. They look like a well-rested team, dropping back to pass, come through. It's Witt Muschamp to Evan Haney, wide open as he scores to put Baylor on top. And then the best part, Haney with the Diamond Dallas Page Selly. These kids showing some respect to 90s wrestling. Red Raiders, well, they're just getting started. And by started, we mean letting their big dog eat. Caleb Hampton scampers for the score as Baylor goes up 2 scores. So nice, well, he's going to do it twice. Hampton is a Mr. Football semifinalist for a reason, and his team is too. Baylor off to the state semis with a 42-16 win over MUS. They'll travel to Brentwood Academy next week with a trip to Findlay on the line. Let's head to the Valley. We know those fireworks, Big Daddy fireworks. The defending state champs in South Pittsburgh hosting Gordonsville. Now listen, once upon a time I was an athlete. It was a while ago, but I'm confident I could have gotten to pay dirt on this one. On the opening kickoff, the middle of the field just parts like the Red Sea as the Tigers' John Foster takes it the distance. And how about this start at Bean Stadium, 7-0 Gordonsville. And the Tigers come out and punch the champs in the mouth as Bryson Greer gets loose. And just like that, Gordonsville takes a 14-0 lead over South Pitt on the road. The Pirates finally gain their footing in big fashion, too. Mr. Football semifinalist Cam Wellington with he unloads, and it's an absolute dime. The Rakash Kelly fire that cannon. But get this was all the scoring. Gordonsville shocks South Pitt and ends the Pirates' repeat hopes 14-7 at Bean Stadium. Now to Wayne Turner Field, where the Tyner Rams are looking to bring the hammer down on Westmoreland in 2A second-round action. The zip on Josh Jackson's throws are something else, man. The slant to Travius Ruffin, yeah, you ain't catching him. Rams on top 7-0. Eagles on the move. They decide to chuck one up. Not a good move against this Tyner defense. It's a no-fly zone, guys, as Rashawn Hitton comes down with the INT. Listen, don't fix what ain't broke. Throw the slant. It's always there. Just watch Jackson to Ruffin again and again. You ain't catching them. Tyner off to the 2A state quarterfinals as they take care of business. 42-17 over Westmoreland. They'll go on the road to East Robertson next week. Down to the scoreboards, Clay County eliminates Whitwell 46-6. East Robertson, again, eliminates Beltso County, so they'll host Tyner next week. And how about this Red Bank on the road over Stowe Memorial, who they will play? We're going to find out after the break. Lipscomb Academy eliminates Silverdale Baptist Academy, and McCauley for a 6th straight season off to the state semifinals. They'll go on the road and take on MBA in a rematch next Friday night.
Here's your pick for the Friday Night Football Play of the Week, brought to you by Center for Sports Medicine. We keep players in the game.
It's been a good year since McMinn Central was not just in the playoffs, but they won in the playoffs last week, and they made the most of it. Novice Cox dropping one in, a bucket to Jacob Ferguson, who shows great concentration and focus to catch it for 6 in their win over Sequatchie County, your Week 12 Play of the Week. Tonight is bringing us our favorite kind of football, high-stakes football. And we're only getting started. A pair of McMinn County teams battled in their respective second-round games, while the only Bradley County team left had to win big on the road. Those highlights and more next on Local 3.
Cheer on with Friday Night Football's Cheerleaders of the Week, sponsored by Wilderness at the Smokies, the Smokies' largest water park resort.
The McMinn County Cherokees have been one of the more surprising teams in our area this season, not because they're good. We expected that. But the fact they're this good, riding a 7-game winning streak into the second round of the 5A playoffs, but McMinn County hasn't made it to the quarterfinals since 2001, and if they want to, they'll have to repeat what they did in 2021, and that's beat Oak Ridge in the playoffs. Always a rocking crowd up in Athens, Tennessee, as the Cherokees host Oak Ridge, quarterfinals on their mind. Ends it on the mind for Jaden Miller here as he goes right up the middle, but credit to the Wildcats defense, able to bring him down short of pay dirt. Then Oak Ridge goes to work in their own right. Jay Hundley on a sloppy field in McMinn County, running old school downhill to set up the Wildcats, and they take advantage as DeJavis Dozier, the bulldozer, pounds it in. But Oak Ridge up 13-6 in a low-scoring nail-biter here. McMinn County would respond with a short touchdown of their own as Caden Hester scores. But this one would come down to the final play as Oak Ridge blocks a potential game-winning field goal and defeats McMinn County 13-12. A heartbreaker for the Cherokees. To Powell we go now, where the Walker Valley Mustangs are looking to knock off the defending state champion Panthers. But Powell comes out like a bullet out of a gun. Jordan Potts to Gianni Magdos, and Magdos goes almost all the way. But hey, credit to the hustle of the Stangs defense, keeps him out of the end zone. They couldn't on the next play, though, as Connor Wheeler pounds it in as Powell goes up early in the game. And unfortunately, it just got worse for the Mustangs. On the ensuing kickoff, Powell is going to pop this puppy loose. And they're all over it as they recover and go right back to work. 3 plays later, it's Potts who keeps hitting scores. Walker Valley no match for the champs as Powell eliminates the Stangs by a score of 48-0. Now to Sweetwater, where the Wildcats welcome McMinn Central in a rematch of just 2 weeks ago, a one-score game 2 weeks ago, mind you. Wildcats moving the ball swiftly as Braden Westfield gets loose and he almost stretches to get in, but he's rolled just short. Easy money for quarterback Landon Boyd as he sneaks it in to put Sweetwater ahead early in the first. The Chargers just struggle to get anything going tonight, and this is a big reason why. Boom. Javon Jonkins laying the boom on Novice Cox. 2 weeks ago was close. Tonight, not so much. Sweetwater eliminates McMinn Central 55-21. Still a step forward for the Chargers program in a great season. Now let's get back to those scoreboards. Raven County eliminates Dade County down in Georgia. Christian Heritage, the Lions, huh? Moving on. Fellowship Christian eliminates North Murray. Ooh, a close one. Walnut Grove over Heritage. And then we got 4 Saturday games. Ringgold hosting Carver tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Koala Creek going to Sandy Creek in a battle of the creeks. And then Calhoun hosting Eastside at 7:30. Dalton on the road at Loganville at 6 o'clock. Again, all those games tomorrow down in North Georgia. The Chattanooga Christian School football program has been on the rise the last few years, but they've never hosted a second-round game until tonight. Rarefied Air calls for a rockin' crowd. No better place to be for our Week 13 fan cam.
See who's on the Friday Night Football Fan Cam, sponsored by Arby's. We have the meats. It's time now to strike up the Friday Night Football Band of the Week with Greg Glover.
I'm with the drum major of the Howard Huston Tiger Marching Band, and your name is?
Malia Nash.
Malia, show us what you have in your hands there. Hold it up for the camera. This is called a mace. The drum major uses that to kind of boss the band around, right? If you're marching somewhere and you want the band to go left, what do? And they see that up in the air and they go, oh, we're going left now. And the Howard Marching Tigers and the mace here to help conduct them on the field. Your Band of the Week.
Ever since Grant Reynolds took over the East Hamilton football program, they haven't been able to beat Red Bank. Well, check. They did this year to win the region. Then they lost to DeKalb County last year at home in the first round. Well, check. They beat them this year to advance. But they haven't been able to get to the 4A quarterfinals yet either. Was another check mark in store on Hurricane Hill tonight. And with all that rain during the day, it was a sloppy one at East Ham, old school playoff football between the Canes and Bees. Upperman wasting no time on the opening drive of the game. They go right down the field as quarterback Jonathan Rushing, rushes for the score, put the Bees on top 7-0. East Ham responds with a gritty drive, converting 2 third and longs. They need another one here, and how about this catch by Jake Rawls? Juan Bullard threw a bullet in there, and Rawls takes a big hit, hangs on for the score. Canes tied up. Upperman on another great drive after converting a 4th and short. Bees buzz back into the end zone as Terrence Dedman crosses the goal line. The Canes defense finally would put a stop to the Upperman attack and use the momentum for another scoring drive. This time it's Bullard to David Cole on a great play call against the grain as he just gets in to tie it 14-14. Each team matched one another. It was all about who would score last, and it's East Ham who wins it on a 2-point conversion with less than a minute to go, 43-42. The Canes are off to the quarterfinals for the first time in 9 years, and they'll host Red Bank next week. Let's hit some Georgia first round action down in Tryon. The Bulldogs hosting Commerce Local 3. All about the field goals, baby. Andy Ramirez bangs it between the pipes. Looking good here. Then the Dogs get it going. Kate Smith over the middle to a streaking Garrett Mahan, and Mahan was nothing but green in front of him. Tryon goes up 10-0 in the first half. Commerce wasn't backing down from the challenge of a road playoff game. Tyshawn Wiggins gets loose, loses our camera, and comes back into focus. This was every bit of a ball game tonight. But it's Tryon's ball game as the Bulldogs win it 45-21 to advance to the second round of the Single A playoffs. Now, one more time to the scoreboard. Pisgah big winners. They go to the third round, the quarterfinals there in 2A, and Alabama leads. Eliminates Scottsboro 35-10. Andrews shuts out Mountain Island 35-0. Robbinsville 39-12 over Cherokee. And Hayesville over Christ the King. He is the king, but not the football team tonight, because Hayesville wins 14-3, and Murphy, always tough to beat in the playoffs, winners 38-34 as they advance as well. Teams have to earn their spot in the playoffs, but sometimes not so much. But teams really have to earn their way to the second round. If you find yourself in the final 8 after tonight, or 4 for the private side, well, things are starting to get real. Because earning something is one thing, going out and taking it is another, and that's what's on tap for a select few of our local teams. Tell your ma, tell your pa, we're going to send you back to Arkansas if you don't tell them about our FNF show online at local3news.com or inside the Local 3 News app. Have a lovely, lovely weekend, everybody.
Friday Night Football is brought to you by Food City and Sonic Drive-Ins. We thank the Chattanooga area Arby's for feeding our Friday Night Football team. Arby's, we have the meats.